Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now we're going to talk about going with the flow. Safety tips when going with the flow. Techniques when going against the flow. AKA, it's going to feel like you're going against the grain. AKA, you're going to feel isolated. AKA, you're going to feel like it's you against the world. Now, when we talk about going with the flow in general, off the bat, we're talking about a flow, a current flow, something that has a flow. So something that has a flow has a vibration. That must have came from a frequency. So we know anything that has a flow to it must has a wave to it. And when we talk about flows and waves, we have to talk about the fluid realm, which is the vibration realm, which is the yin realm, the inside realm, the end realm. And when we talk about the fluid, we know anytime fluid is involved, it's going to deal with time. So you know, anytime someone say go with the flow about something, you know it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So 9 times out of 10, it's something that you have to take time to feel comfortable with doing. So overall, we know that your soul, which is your feelings, your emotions, your water, your fluid, is attached to all things fluid-like. All fluid connects in all realms of realities, whether it's in this density or a higher density or a lower density. Your emotions and the way you feel is connected to the waters amongst the earth, because water is a relationship to a fluid. Your soul, your emotions and feelings is a relationship to a fluid. So now that we know going with the flow deals with the fluid realm, we know it deals heavily with your emotions and your feelings. So we know ultimately going with the flow with a program, a situation, whatever, we know ultimately going with the flow is being emotionally acceptable to something. And if we know the fluid realm, if we know time is fluid, like frequency is a lower frequency than actual frequency. Fluid is a lower frequency, a lower vibrational frequency of fluid. That's what water and time is. They're lower vibrational frequencies of frequency, because frequency is the line, vibration is the wave. You know what I'm saying? And energy is the density of it. It's what you can feel from it. So we know, since going with the flow is dealing with the fluid realm, is dealing with the vibration realm, and you're gonna have to be emotionally acceptable to something. So anytime you hear somebody say just go with the flow, 9 times out of 10 that's somebody trying to make you or convince you to be emotionally acceptable to something. And 9 times out of 10, I don't want to say it's a negative or a bad ocean flow, but 9 times out of 10, going with the flow always puts you in a realm of uncomfortability. So we know that's dealing with the fluid realm too. Your emotions and your feelings, what makes you comfortable. Just like the moon controls the tides of the waters here, it's the same way there. It controls your emotions and your feelings. So what happens here is, when you're going with the flow, right, you have to understand that a lot of times going on a rapid flow, like say you in your body and somebody told you to jump into the ocean, you jumped into the ocean, now you going with the flow, and you can't go against the tides because the tides may be too strong, right? It's going to put you in an uncomfortable situation, because now it's thrusting you into the unknown. Until you get emotionally comfortable with the flow that's going, that's the only time you're going to be comfortable with that flow. So it's always going to be some form of resistance, because you're always reacting to the flow itself while going with the flow. So that if you look at a river fall, an ocean flow, all that, you see everybody going in the one, like say every piece of water is a person. You see everybody emotions and feelings going in one direction. Anytime you see bubbles or fluctuations or waves, that's water's going the opposite way, not going all in the same flow. So it looked like erupted water. So that's rebellious people, people who have rebellious emotions and feelings amongst the situations that they're putting themselves into. But let's go into it. So now going with the flow. Now you're gonna have to go with some kind of flow because you're in something. You're in a globe. You're in Earth. You know what I'm saying? So off the bat, just to be in density, you're in something. Because like I said, without came first. The frequency came first. The idea came first. That's without. Then it had to go in itself. So it went in. So that's the vibration of it now. You see what I'm saying? So now the idea, the spirit, now has a soul. It has a fluid realm. You know what I'm saying? Then those two together, once it experience through time with the emotions and the feelings, it gets brought down into density. So what happens here is when you're going with the flow, you know what I'm saying, you already amongst a program that's in something. So it's no point of going with the flow if you're not a part of something. That's like people who join gangs, people who do anything that's a part of anything. They're emotionally comfortable with the energetic emotions and the feelings of that actual organization. That's just like say you just got down with an organization, but they do a specific thing that you don't agree with. You're going to start going against the tides because you're not emotionally comfortable with everything that the flow of that energy of whatever their ocean and their river fall is going. Now you could be going with flows. You could be going with flows that could be leading down to river falls, bad dams. You know what I'm saying? You could be leading. Now you could know what kind of flows you're going into. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, flows and currents be so strong and heavy. A lot of times you have to align yourself with certain other flows within the flow, so you can kind of gravitate. You may either reach a rock or reach a stick or reach a land or reach a corner somewhere where you can kind of slow your pace down and you don't have to go down the river fall as fast as everyone else. Now here's why I say this, because you have certain intellectual beings and certain properties and programs here that the ocean wave and the tide and the current is so strong that sometimes you have to go with certain things in order to get from point A to point B. Because to try to rebel against a whole ocean wave. Now what makes a whole ocean wave is a collective. It's everybody's collective conscious. So if a news channel or intellectual being can sway a large amount of people, which is aka conscious, if you're a person, you're consciously aware. So what makes a conscious flow is when it's a group of conscious aware people being consciously aware of a program, or being consciously aware of a situation, or being consciously aware of a circumstance. Now what make people aware of this is news channels, intellectual beings who do things out of their own selfish nature, or maybe trying to do something, or you got intellectual beings out here who try to help people like me. I'm trying to get a large crowd to help people. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, this is what it takes. It's like batteries. Humans is like batteries, like the Matrix almost. So it's like what you're consciously aware of, that's what you pay attention to. So you're giving your currency to it. And what you get in return is whatever the intellectual property is whatever their bargain and gain system is. And a lot of beings really be just giving you fear. You pay for fear. You know what I'm saying? You give your attention to receive fear. And I'll be thinking like, damn, you don't go work all day to get some money to go to the store and buy some shit that you scared to eat, or buy some shit that you scared to wear. So why the fuck is you paying your attention to something that you have to fear? And something you have to give more of your... But that's another... You know what I'm saying? But, you know, for the most part, going with the flow. Like I said, certain flows are so huge, and it takes a person, it takes consciousness. Now, each person is a piece of consciousness. It's a piece of the water. Now, the more and more conscious, which is the more and more people give their conscious attention to one thing, that's like a bunch of cups of water being poured in a whole bucket of water. So say this bucket is a program or a situation or is an intellectual or philosophical outlook or is a law or something that politics try to get the world to care about, right? Say that's the bucket, right? You get a big glass of water. That's like an important person, a person who hold importance, important sway across a lot of people. You pour his emotions and feelings in that bucket. Now you're gonna have a lot of people who relate to that ocean that his piece of water came from, because he got such a large cup. He could cover a large amount of people and their emotions and feelings and how they feel about the situation. So now if they have the same outlook as him, and his outlook or her and his or her outlook is in that bucket, which is the AKA new law or whatever like that, then you're going to get other cups. And the more filled that bucket gets, the more heavy that bucket is, which is more added. More added consciousness is more like more water, more wave, more emotions and feelings amongst the situation is added more density, more weight. So the bucket is more heavy. So now that the bucket is more heavy, it can't be moved. It can't be budged. It's in density. It can become solid. It can become reality now. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be careful of what bucket you actually pour your water in. That's like you have to be careful of what actual flow you're going with. And you know, it's really just all analogies. But the simple fact that when you make analogies and you can't help but to tie it to certain words and to certain letters, it leaves you no choice but to understand it and overstand it and look at it like it's really that way. So this fluid realm is really fluid. You know what I'm saying? And you really have to look at it that way. So once you understand that, you could alkaline your water just by your emotions and your feelings. It don't take a whole bunch of external shit. You ain't got to go buy a purified tank. You ain't got to go buy some drops to alkaline your water. Listen, you got people who are going through emotional turmoil every day. I mean, they wake up depressed, keep on thinking about people who might have disrespected them or played them or stabbed them in the back in their life or cheated on them. And they constantly thinking about these people every day, but they think they drinking healthy because they alkaline in their water every day. The water, you don't give a fuck about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Then you could get a person who's a bum, but they know thyself and everything, and they live amongst the land. And they could be the poorest person in the world. Go drink the nastiest, dirtiest looking water in the world. And I bet that water be 10 times more alkaline than the water that looks see-through and blue as the world as the person who's trying to teach you some instructions on how to be healthy. But if that person going through emotional turmoil every day, I don't give a fuck how alkaline that motherfucking water is. The moment that person him or her drink that water, they're attaching all that emotional instability that they had throughout the days with that water. So that water is not alkaline. You drinking that water, and those same feelings and emotions that was turmoil for you last week gonna reappear, no matter how alkaline you made that motherfucking water. You see what I'm saying? This metaphysics shit is deep, and you got a lot of fake metaphysic people out there that hold their life to external things. And once a person start to give you a bunch of instructions and a bunch of external things to add on to your life, already that's putting you into more density. Some shit you have to learn how not to give a fuck about. Like, if you're a person who got AIDS, I'm not saying that it's good because you may have fall short to the mistakes of the earth ahead of time. But I'm telling you, from a mental and metaphysic way of looking at it, really external shit, you really supposed to say fuck that shit. You're really supposed to say, well, if this body going to deteriorate, I'm happy for it. You know what I'm saying? Because the more and more you get into hospitals and medication and things like that and worry and stuff like that, you're bringing yourself into density on another level. So you're going to die and come back, and the physical body you come in may be even sicker than that. But if you didn't give a fuck about the sickness that you're in and you suffering all this sickness, but you appreciate it, and then this body die and come and go on, the body you come back in gonna be motherfucking magnificent. But it's hard for humans to see shit like that because of all the programs that they in and shit like that. So it's hard for y'all to even see, to even care about the next life. You like, shit, I don't remember my past life, so shit, I'm living this life. I don't even know, I'm not even for sure what people even talking about if I go to a next life. So I'm gonna live the life I live now. And that's the first mistake. Because you have to understand, nothing is easy. And it be the shit that you know intuitively that it's the hard thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. And it be that shit, it most of the time it be the shit that's just so easy to disregard and keep living life comfortably. It be the shit that you disregard just to keep living comfortably. That be the shit that your spirit telling you, you know you supposed to do it that way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But there's so much programs and intellectual beings here controlling so much other shit that make you feel comfortable with their buckets, with their ocean flows. And if they lead you down a river that falls down a crazy dam and that leads to nowhere, then if you ain't emotionally strong person enough to go against that grain, then you gonna go down with everyone else, just for the sake because you feel comfortable. Yeah, it's easy to go with the flow. You can sit back, relax. Just just go along with everyone else. But then when y'all all start to fall, then what? See what I'm saying? See, shit hard when you have to swim against the tide. Shit hard when you have to emotionally go against things just because you feel like everybody else is emotionally attached to that feeling and think they should go about it. That's the same way with work and jobs in general. Like, people, if you tell a person to quit a job right now, they'll look at you like it doesn't make sense. Because the ocean wave and the tide of that is so strong. The whole world is doing that. And the bucket or the ocean or the land that ocean is going on is so large, and the programs that they put on it is almost like if you're not going with that flow, you're going to be looked at as an outcast. But you do need to understand that bucket or that land was constructed by an intellectual being. And it wasn't what God put you here to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for a person to be like, nah, this is the right thing to do. Because that ocean wave and those tides are so strong to go against that wave. How you going to do it? The whole world then came up with a bargain and gain system of how you supposed to go about things. But don't you know, if we started off in a different way, that's how it would be now. See, we got intellectual beings who started it off in a bargain and gain system. We all do it this way, and anybody who's going against that way is going to be looked at crazy. You got that in religion. You got that in everything. You know what I'm saying? In all outlooks on the world, in the world. You know? So going with the flow, you know what I'm saying? You always going to be in a flow, because if you in a body, you're in a physical form. So that means you was already an idea, you already became a soul, and you already brought yourself down to density. So you're already in some kind of flow. So you just gonna have to accept you being in a flow. Hell is a flow. It's a density. You know what I'm saying? You experience the same waves over and over again. And it's like it goes round and round. You think you're going straight ahead or down a river fall, but as the land is constructed itself, is going around and round and round. Just like the earth. You know what I'm saying? And going against the flow, it's only, you have to be emotionally stable for that. Because going against the tides, you know what I'm saying, can make a person very depressed, make a person feel very lonely, make a person feel like they're crazy, make a person feel like they're not doing something they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a very emotionally secure person to actually go against the tides and go against the flow and actually come out surviving. Because you got so many consciousness waves here that the tides are so strong that you can die trying to go against certain things, trying to be a revolutionary, trying to be you know what I'm saying, you can actually die in the process, get killed. So you have to be careful, but you have to understand that you're in a flow itself already anyway. So you have to know how to jump rope, you have to know how to play the game. The game is not going to change for you. It's nothing new. It's just how you do it is what's new. The thing that you're actually doing is not new. It's just how you doing it is what's new. So you know what I'm saying? Like anybody who got some type of chip against the world or whatever like that, you ain't doing nothing but hurting yourself, because you're going against a flow, an unnecessary flow. You need to come up with creative ways to go against the flow within the flow. If you know what I mean, if you get what I'm trying to say, you know what I'm saying. This could be played out through situations in life, all kind of things. The people you deal with, the intellectual properties that's going on amongst your environment, things that you're around every day, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you looking at it in a broad perspective, but you could bring it to a simple perspective. You've been going with the flow of your parents your whole life, and as you get older and start to see some of the ages that they've seen already in your circle, you're starting to, every day, little by little, you're starting to go against their tide, their ocean, their little bucket that they put you in. You know what I'm saying? So you're starting to see the ocean wave from a perspective of how you see it. So you start to see what kind of waves you might have been on, the wrong wave patterns. It's time for you to get on, or you might have been on the right wave patterns and seeing when you've been steered wrong, and seeing when you may be led down a ocean path that's going down a fall or anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's waves being thrown at you every day. And like when we say waves, we know it's dealing with the fluid realm. So we know it's mainly dealing with your emotions and your feelings. And going with the flow is being emotionally accepted. That's just like, say I hate to bring it to ratchet shit all the time though, but like this is a good example. Say you with someone who robbing somebody all the time, right? And I don't even bring that into density, because I keep talking about that in the videos, but we're just gonna do this for the last time, and we're gonna switch to another ratchet topic. But let's say robbing somebody or doing something, or breaking the law or something like that, right? And you just riding with this person, and you don't usually do this, but you're going with this person. You're doing it for the sake of whatever intellectual properties this person or power this person got over you. So if this person got an emotional sense or emotional wave over you, you let them control you to a certain degree. So you're going along with this person's wave. Now, to know what kind of wave or to know what kind of bucket you in, the bucket is the program, the wave is the situation. So to know what kind of bucket is in or what kind of land is on, you see the premises of it. Is it a rocky land? Is it a smooth land? You know, if you're going to rob somebody, that's a rocky land. The ocean flow may not always go as smoothly. Something may just happen. It may be a stick, a branch, a tree branch, or something like that just make y'all separate and go. One person may get caught, one person may not. You know what I'm saying? That's a rocky land. You know what I'm saying? The bucket is in. That's the land. The bucket. The kind of flow it is the direction y'all actually going. You know the direction. That's a direction that might be going to a fall, a cliff. That direction might not be going to an even land, because that's a harsh, the direction of it can lead you into jail. So off the back, you know what kind of land or bucket that water is on, or in, and now you know what kind of flow it is. But you're not saying nothing. You're not taking yourself out of the situation. So you're going with that flow off the cliff, and the land, and you didn't care about that flow being on rocky land. Basically, you didn't care about that. You didn't care about that water being in a dirty bucket, doing dirty business. You see what I'm saying? So you have to make sure that if you're gonna be on a flow at the end of the day, you're gonna be on a ocean wave flow at the end of the day. You're gonna be surfing no matter what. What you surf on is up to you though. And your spirit and soul is always going to tell you. Your soul is always going to tell you. You know when something don't feel right. You know when you're going to be unaligned emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So stop acting like that. Stop doing things for the sake of, because it feel comfortable. This is the ocean flow. No, you know when your ass being led down the wrong path, and everybody with jobs in the world, you're being led to a cliffhanger, because when you die, you done gave your soul and your emotion and your consciousness wave to something else. But listen, when we talk about death, I don't want you to look at it as harsh as it seems. You're gonna have plenty of times to do this over. That having a job and work, that consciousness wave is so powerful that it may be hard to go against that tide with this lifetime. But this is not the only lifetime. You see what I'm saying? Understand that. So, like I said, when I was talking about before, coming up with creative tricks and coming up with creative methods of how to go against the flow with going with the flow, that means, finding certain rocks, finding certain things you could branch your on to slow down your process. That's actually coming up with your own emotional comfortability within the flow you're in. So if you have a job, you come up with the emotions and the feelings that job is giving you. You don't let that job work you. You work that job. You don't go home feeling the woos and wars of that job. You don't wake up every morning going there feeling like, fuck this place, or I'm just doing this because I have to do that. No. You know what I'm saying? That's going with the flow down the cliff in this time with this body. No, you go there feeling like you feel how you want to feel, regardless of how people make you feel. You fight it. You fight it, even if it's so hard to fight. I mean, every time you go to work, there's somebody in your ear that you just want to cuss out and slap, but you can't, and it's hard to do it. And you go home and take that with you. Just the simple fact that the universe or God can see you still trying to change your emotions and feelings, like, but today they're not going to affect me. Even if they do affect you every day of your life, you're already on that flow. Like I said, you're going to be in a flow. But if the universe see you even trying not to get so confident in that, not to get soaked up and absorbed in that, and see you at least trying, believe me, that flow is, whatever part of the flow you on is going to smooth out for you. And even though you still lead into the fall like everybody else, your fall ain't going to be as harsh as everybody else. And when you come back, it's going to be even better. You know what I'm saying? We all in this shit. I jumped in this. Don't think just because I'm Uriel and I'm talking about it, don't mean that I don't have to do it too. I'm here just like y'all. I'm on this flow too, so I'm going down right with y'all. I'm just teaching y'all the creative methods and steps that we can take so we can slow down our process. I'm working now just by me putting up videos every day. I'm working towards the goal. I had to bring myself into density and work towards telling the truth. You have no choice but to be in something if you're in a physical form. So you have no choice but to be on a flow, period. That's what I'm trying to get across to you, but I'm trying to give you healthy ways of how to go against the grain within going with the flow. Therefore, you could be you may be looked at as rebellious, but you may be looked at as a smooth ass motherfucker doing it. And goddamn, people don't even wanna fuck up your path while you doing it. They want to see you going along right with them, but the smoothest way possible. And that's support. That's like AKA support. We all go down the same path, but yours may be smoother than others. You still gonna fall. You still gonna die. But the path that the flow that you was on before we got there was maybe smoother than others. AKA, you may have more money. AKA, you may feel more better about yourself, even if you didn't have money. AKA, you have more support. You know what I'm saying? It's deep, man. Like, even with the rebellious shit. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if you do it in a smooth, tactical way, the powers that be in the ocean flow you in, no, there's water rebellion, because it's gonna be like bubble waves and stuff like that, and you still going the same direction everybody else going, but it's like a wave and shit. People seeing like, what's that? That's a wave. Hold on. They ain't technically going with the flow. They doing some other shit, but you know what I'm saying? But it's so smooth the way they do it. Look, they gonna get support. Look, I like that wave. Let's keep that wave waving over there. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all get? Y'all might not even get what I'm saying, because I actually see this realm. So when I talk about it like how I see it. So it's like, y'all might not, it might just seem like an analogy, but just me saying that one Pacific line right there of other oceans, other parts of the ocean is going to be seeing that wave as rebellious, but the smoother they know how to do that, go against the grain type of wave, the more support they're going to get, and the more that wave going to be left alone. It's so many analogies you can come out of that and build on just from that. Like, I can go into that, how that play out in everyday life in situations when you're going in a flow with something. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to let y'all build on that, because my soul group ain't stupid. And for the people who may come on my page and hate and be like, you know what I'm saying, this nigga don't know what the fuck he talk about, he just smoked a blunt and think he, like, let them keep thinking that, because they're going to be the people who constantly need something external, some external information or some external knowledge in order to understand something that's going on with this side them. When really, if they was just watching me smoke and talk about something that's going on with inside all of us. But you want to hate on me and go learn something external to hate on me about something you already know internally. You see what I'm saying? Like, shit crazy, man. Flight boss, bitch. You know, and that was just me and my soul group doing a command wave, attacking, you know, because we got a lot of reptilian beings and shit like that that be watching my shit that ain't in my best nature. Like, it's a lot of my videos I bet y'all could watch. It got a lot of thumbs up and it'd be one thumb down. That lets you know that my videos and the way you title it, you won't even be able to find it unless you know about me. You can't find my videos on the internet just searching shit. You gotta kind of like know about me or kind of be into metaphysics or something like that. So you off the bat know that thumb down is somebody who know me personally or just somebody who watch my videos and just wanna. But just the fact that it's just one, I can kind of decipher who it is. So it's like, it's just funny. But you know, I'm gonna keep doing this shit. You know, cause like that shit is like petty. Like. Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. Goddamn, Archangel Uriel, you know what I'm saying? Don't make me come into your motherfucking dreams. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Motherfucker. Flight boss.